the three dargis in the Ein Sof and the relationship to Avodah. That is the general heading. If you remember that, what I just said, everything else will fall into place. So, identified three levels, Malamata Lamaila. There's the Darga in the Ein Sof, where Hashem decides, articulates a rotzen, it's articulated rotzen that Avodah should affect. Then there's the Ein Sof itself, higher than the articulated rotzen. And then there's Atzmos Ein Sof. And there, Dafkin Atzmos, because we explained the Shamas are rooted in Atzmos, that there's the whole root, the root of Halas Man, why and how could possibly make a difference. So he explained, without repeating the Mishalem again, but Helem, you tell me what's what. Helem Sheesh B'Metzias and Helem She'eni B'Metzias, which level is what? We have to explain three, so far two. We actually explained the third already. Or revisit the third now, but the two levels, what's what? Without the Mishalem again, because it's 2 days you spent on it. Just match up the levels, the statements. Helem Sheyeshtem b'Metzias. Well, it's obvious. We're going from the bottom up. Helem Sheyeshtem b'Metzias is what? That corresponds to what level? The what?
Hashem wants
the articulated rotzen that avodah effect. It's an articulated rotzen, so it's a helem sheyeshtem b'metzias, like the flame in the coal, like the kochas ne'elamim of the nefesh, as we explained yesterday. Then the higher level, this is the Ein Sof, the pshitis of the Ein Sof, that is the helem she'eni b'metzias, right? And that is the mashal for that is the fire in the rock and the kochas aklulim b'nefesh, not kochas ne'elamim, but kochas aklulim b'nefesh. Okay. Remembering, bearing in mind what I said at the outset of the shir, repeat it again. What is all of this discussion about? It's all to explain how avodah is negeya, where, how, and why. In which, how, in which way, and what, and so on. Speak up, I'm sorry.
She'ena b'Metzias is the Aryan side, you said, right?
Helem she'eni b'Metzias, yeah.
But where did we so far come across?
Sorry?
Where so far have we come across in that pshitus anything talking about the existence, even She'ena b'Metzias of?
It's going to be addressed further, but basically because he said that since in Atzmos, there's the decision that Avodah should be Negeya, so it's carried through even in the Ein Sof on some subtle level. Even though it's not an articulated decision yet, a Rotzen that spells it out. But the Nisava is there. It's going to be addressed. It's going to be addressed still. Now, actually, what he's going to address now, l'chayra, is not, guys, if you miss something here, I'm telling you, the whole thing will unravel. You'll get nothing. Sorry, it's like EMC equals MC squared. There's few people will understand that. This mime was on that level. So how much we'll get, I don't know. I mean, the Havdil. But if we don't completely, here, then you miss a word, even the whole thing is, you got nothing. I'm not gonna, it's a waving my flag. I'm just going to tell you, this is, because I've had Benya last night in downtown, 70 years, Tzach. I hadn't prepared this year. I came back, this kept me up. I'm just struggling with it. My passion in bed, just trying to reading it again. It's consistent pshat. Lo pashut. And I pray to God that the pshat I'm giving you is correct. But we really have to be invested in this because it's not simple. So L'chaira, he's now going to address the third level. What's the marshal for the first? We did already. So you just tell me, just technically, just identify the name, the tag, the label. What's the marshal that he gave for the third level? What's the third level mean? The yachas. What are we out to understand here? The yachas between avodah, the relationship, avodah, the spheres, and the Eibishter on these three levels. The Eibishter is articulates his ratzin, the Eibishter is pshitas in sof, and the atzmus ein sof. So the two mishalim he gave till now match up with the two lower levels. What's the motion that he gives for this third level? Name, a name. Say, what? Shame.
Yeah, but he did, so far in the mimer, he didn't say that that's connected to the highest level. He only just talked about Shane and Matthias.
That's where he's going. That seems to be the flow. That's what he's saying. Let's pick up. And let's read it again. Okay. Let's start again. The second paragraph of Ois. Was it the second? Yeah, what is saying? So even the fire and the stone is still a Metzias. What is its thing? What is its identity? That it's a source for actual, tangible identity. Thing. The power of fire, the ability of fire that exists in the rock. It is the source of fire, which means it's something additional to the rock itself. Still not absolutely one. So the fact that the rock produces fire, so this is something additional to the essential rock itself. Likewise, the parallel we use in Keichas HaKlulim B'Nefesh, we explained yesterday, the soul faculties as they are, not the Keich HaMaskal, but as they are Klulim B'Nefesh, so all incorporated there, Shem Keichas, they're still not the soul, they're still faculties, V'lei Nefesh. V'Yiseidim is a moreover, Shem K'mei Malka L'Keichas HaGiluim. They're like a source. Now, like a source means they have to manifest in these manifested faculties of intellect. There's the source of intellect that will manifest in manifested intellect. They're not just abilities, they are sources that will, without anything radical, will express itself naturally in Keichas HaGeloyim. And therefore, V'lochein HaMoshel the Keichas HaKlulim B'Nefesh Al Eses V'Ris HaGnuzes. So the motion that we're giving now to explain Eses V'Ris HaGnuzes, that's what we're saying, that is the Keichas HaKlulim B'Nefesh, the parallel would be. So that is not really the highest level of the Eses V'Ris. It's not. With Eses V'Ris, Dakudim. That's Eses V'Ris is already, they are bound together in a keli. We addressed this yesterday. Aval, but you want to trace back how Eses V'Ris HaGnuzes, which are, remember, they're only there because of Allah's man, because of Avodah. So at the level of Eses V'Ris HaGnuzes, which are higher than Akudim, this marshal will not do. Now, L'chaira, this is talking in Atzmus Ein Sof. Ein Shaykh Loime, Gam Shehem Behelm Shenim Metzias. So you can't even say it's like the fire in the rock, which is Helm Shenim Metzias. Elo Shenim Metzias Klal. They're not a Metzias at all. So what's going to be a Moshe? We're going to see the name. Like we find the Lashon, there is no Metzias, meaning no identity, any sense of separation of all to the Genuzas. And if we're saying it's Koiches, Aklulim, it's still something. So what is it? Answer. At the highest level, the existence of existence, for want of a better word, the term we're staying with, the Chayda, is a new term. It's Yechelis. Now, what does Yechelis mean? Yechelis means it's a completely potential state, but does not exist. There could be. But if they're not, there isn't. Again, that's the Schrodinger's paradox. The cat is both dead and alive in the box at the same time. That's quantum physics. It all depends on how you view it. And it's not even a source, because a source means it has to be expressed in a certain way. It does not. It could or it could not. So the mashal he gives is this fascinating mashal on Mishem Ba'adam, a person's name. Let's see this, get this clear. This is very fundamental to the mind. Before we go further, when you look at someone, can you see his name? No, you don't see his name. He doesn't need his name. And there's no way you see it's a tag, a label that's been given to a person. Then what is his whole mitzias? That if one day someone wants to get his attention, here's how you do it. So it expresses a level, listen carefully here, it expresses a level within the person that if I would want to be drawn to somebody else, I could be. If I should so decide. That's what attaches in the person. Is that clear? This is the Nakuda. That's the Nakuda of Yechelis. That if I would want to be drawn to somebody else, and they'd call me by this name, I could respond. But if they don't use the name, there is nothing doing. Not there. Let's see the words of the Maimer. There's Yechelis, so that's what's
Sorry, one question. So the name is really, not.
Sorry, repeat back. Okay, they'll listen. Go ahead.
So the name is not part of the person. The name is, because if his parents would call him a different name or her a different name, then they would associate with that what they call him, which means the name is really nothing to do with the person.
I didn't hear a word you said, but the guys are going to tell me.
We heard all the words.
Speak slow.
It's a big challenge. It's I don't know. I don't know what.
You have to repeat. Are you saying a statement or a question? I'm not pushing that.
I want a clarification. I mean,
you're asking for clarification, or you're saying a clarification.
I want to understand. I
think we have some other.
I think he's saying basically that the name's not part of the.
Slow.
The name is not part of the person, because the parents could have called them by a different name and would have had
the parents what?
Could have called them a different name.
Well, no name at all.
Or no, but if they called them a different name, it would have accomplished the same function, but it's a different name. So is that name part of the person, or am I getting your question right?
Yeah, more or less. I'm just trying to understand. You're saying it's coming from such a deep spot. Such a deep spot has nothing to do with the person. It's got to do with somebody else decided that this person should react to that name.
You mean like a nickname?
You're saying that the name comes from such a deep spot. Why is it so arbitrary? What's the difference if it's one name or another name? It's such a deep muscle.
Okay, so good. If that's the question, the answer to that is Adarab. Because the deeper we go, the less things have to be. The etzem is just is. And any relationship outside is observably arbitrary. But that brings out how bottle and how it's not, how bottle the name is to the person. He's not hardwired in this way. So again, so what is a name? We need to let's see it in the Maimer, the words, and then we'll rephrase it, all of us in our own language. What is the innovation that a person has a name? Hurak, it's this. Only this. If someone will call him by his name, he will relate to that person. He will turn. So it's all for somebody else, and it's only if somebody else invokes it. If the other person doesn't invoke it, your whole life doesn't need his name. Perfectly fine without it. On a desert island, you don't need a name and an address. This he's now relating in brackets, making it clearer for us. He's turning to the one who has just called him by his name. When does it start? It starts when someone calls his name. Before someone calls him, he's not relating to anything outside him, to that person. Not even a source. Wait long enough, he will. No, he may never. A source at the end of the day will have to express itself. He may never turn to that person, never relate to him in his entire life, and he's missing nothing. So he's given a name of birth. So what's that? If one day someone want to get his attention, here's how. And he will turn. He'll be able to turn. So this we said yesterday, quantum physics is really what's saying. Till you observe it, it's not a mitzvah. And thank you, Yossi. Are you on today? Yossi Schaefer. Are you on? No. He sent me
Yes.
Oh, you are. There you are. Thank you. A very nice digest of quantum physics and the various theories, etc. Which wasn't just from AI, but you edited it, which was much appreciated. This is mamish the Indian. So it could be. Yechelis means a possibility. That doesn't even have to happen. This doesn't fundamentally have to happen. So this is a marshal for war. For what? For the Esek Sfiris HaGnuzes as they exist within Atzmus Ein Sof. Articulated there? No. But a Yid will come along and call the Eibishter Chassid and a Gibber. It's going to manifest. As he goes on to say, he's going to give now till now we're talking about a name, like your name, Pashat your name. And now he's going to bring a different marshal, which Lachair is different. And we'll see, we'll explain why it's to bring both Mashal.
Is it like, 1 second, is it like when a person faints?
And the person what?
Faints.
Things?
No, passes out.
Faints. Oh, yeah.
You call him with his name, and he sometimes he wakes up with it.
Yeah, the paradox is, that's the paradox. As external as it is, Adarabah, because it's so external and doesn't have to be, it comes from the deepest place of the soul where things don't have to be. That's why we faint. He turns to this. And by Chassidus says, the famous story with, the Rebbe brings the famous story with the Tzemach Tzedek as a child with the Alter Rebbe, right? Alter Rebbe asked him, where's Zayda? So he's sitting on his lap. So he pointed, he said, Zayda's nose. Okay. So he points here, Zayda's beard. So the kid, the child, Tzemach Tzedek realized where this is going. He stopped, finished, he jumps off, and he's playing in the corner. And then he gives a call, Zayda. And the Alter Rebbe turns and says, oh, that's Zayda. So what's the hesber? It's the most external thing. Because it's the most external part of me, which means it's only Yechelis. I don't even need the name. It could be, it could not be. That expresses the pshitas of the nefesh, the essence of the nefesh. That doesn't have to express it all. That doesn't have to express. The name is this incredible Shemus. That's why it says that says in Medrash, the whole Torah is Shemus of the Eibishter. The whole Torah is Shemus, every word. Torah Shebiksav, all the Eibishter's names. You have to think about this paradox very clearly. Because the Eibishter, and likewise the Etzem HaNefesh, doesn't have to manifest in any particular way, or at all. So when you touch that you don't need it all, and it's only a possibility, then you're really touching on the Etzem. And the name brings that out, because you don't need it. Why does it touch you? Because within you, if I could decide that if someone calls me, I will turn to them. That's the pure potential. That's touching the atzmius of the nefesh. That if someone would call me, I could turn to them. You could also ignore them, but you could turn to them. But even ignoring them means that they got your attention. Okay, so now a second motion, it gets even more complex. So let's go. I wish you, friends, you should be up at night with this. That's it. No other problems on your head. Panos is good. Nachas is good. Was sagt in the Maimer? Confusion, and then break your head. And I'll tell you, as the Rebbe said many times, we have a choice. Adam la'omel yivalid or yulad. We're going to be building. Either you're building, Pisim and Ramses for Paroi, or you're building Kal V'chomer, Liban Hilchas, you're toiling in Torah. So if we choose to toil in Torah and in Ruchnius, then we're exempt. You got to toil. Then you don't have to toil. Hashem will take care of that for you. But there's no free lunch. You're going to have sweat. Your choice is to sweat over what? You're going to be frustrated. You're frustrated chas v'shalom in business, got a deal, or I don't understand the mind. So you choose where you want to put your effort. Here, the second paragraph. I just want to mention it. Yossi Kramer, Oliver Shalom. You all saw it in the news. He's a Montreal boy. He died, passed away. His brother Shmuley tells him he suffered terribly. He was from the Shluchim to Australia together with Aaron Laser. They were good friends. In fact, and Yankauditis, it's pretentious to say they're my friends, but over the years, as you get older, the gap between the ages gets less. So they were my mentors and teachers, and now it's not their level, but some level we're friends. So these guys, Yankel, Aaron Laser, and Yossi Kim and Yossi Chitrik went the same. Shluchim went to Australia, then they came back in 770, and then the Rebbe sent them off as Bochrim to Eretz Yisrael on Shlichus. The whole life Shlichus. Yossi Kramer and his father, a very soft-spoken person. I never heard him raise his voice. I never saw him get angry, lose it, not even close. And I was privileged. He taught my first Yeshiva Gedolah. He taught me and my friends. Very, very good head. And I used to remember, I wrote this to the uncle, like, so the Shluchim, this is before there was Rosh Hashivas in Melbourne, nothing. The Shluchim, they were everything. It was a mashgiach, but they were the teachers, mashpiyah. And so the part of the morning they taught us, the Australian boys. In the afternoon, they had their chavrus amongst each other. And then at night, they taught again. Chassidus in the morning, Nigla, and Chassidus at night. The afternoon was basically this. At least the first part, they learned Ian. So I remember 18-year-old watching them learn, Yossi Kramer, Yankaritis, and envying the depth, Pashat Nigler, the depth of their learning, how beautiful it was. They learned like it says in the Kuntres Eitz Chaim, out there, Rabbi Shab lays out how you learn. All the way from, you start with the Mishnah, Gemara, the Shonim, all the way down to Shulchan Aruch, tracing the whole thing down to the Shulchan Aruch and then the Deisei Kelim, to the Sugyas. And that's here of them sitting and learning. And he was a wonderful person. He was a shlich in Tveria, quiet man, and built an empire in Tveria. There's a seminary in Yeshiva Gedola and a day school and all kinds of chesed organizations like Madda and soup kitchens. And in his quiet, unassuming way, accomplished extraordinary amount. Okay, I'm showing this because whatever good that I have is all because of the hashpah of all of these shluchim and so. Okay, let's go further a little bit. In fire and water for the Rebbe, Shashtil, finished. Without a fuss. Whatever. My mission, fire and water. So just like the name of a person, now exploring names further, Reuven and Shimon. So that you're as we said before, the big mile of that is, okay, let me tell you why he's giving a second marshal now. Because Taka, when you call, so the person turns. But what's he turning with? Not any particular, just Bam is very deep, all there for you. The next second will determine the engagement. Like when he called Zayden, he turned, it painted B'cholatz Musa, completely turned. And then, then emotional, intellectual, whatever. But the actual Kriya summons only this totality of the person. We want to bring out, as a Sviras Agnuzas, that when a Yid calls on the Eibishter, he's Mamshech Inyan Prati. We daven, we say Akel, Agodel, Agibur, Vanoira, we're Mamshech these in Yanim. So therefore, the moshel continues. Just like the name, the same is also true, names that describe virtues, names of faculties. Let's see inside. How it works down here, and then we'll apply it Lamaila. When you call someone a chacham or a chassid, by these praises, the very praises themselves arouse this faculty, whether it's chachma or chesed, that it should be manifest. This is explained at length in my bottom of Lag Ba'omer. And that, by the way, is a very important chinuch thing. You call the kid chassidl, tzaddikl. You know, you throw out these words of might. You bring out those properties. Let's explain them to many Maimarim. The essence of this hakanuzes. So now we're getting now the highest level of the essence of this hakanuzes exists within the Eibishter as what? A Masora Shemas. There are 10 names. The paradox of the name, you don't need it. And because you don't, therefore it's the expression of the pure you that doesn't have to manifest. But when we do call them, here's the key words, by calling them, we create them. When Hashem articulated the desire there should be sviris, so it wasn't sviris in the manifested sense yet at all. He gives rise to 10 names. If they'll call me by it, it'll happen. When they'll call me by it, then this will be. Shekol in Yanam, but what's the name? This is so subtle. The kasha yikoru isa yizbarech. Bechad mishemis elu. When a yid will call the Eibushter by one of these names, Chesed, Gevur, etc., Tisava Oz, then the Sfira is created. Al Yedei HaKriya. Isa HaSfira HaShaychas Hashem Zeh. Then that Sfira, that this name is saying, will be born. In brackets, like Yedei, you could spelling it out for us. We call the Eibushter Chacham wise. Tisava Sfira HaChachma. That's when Chacham is born. By Yedei Shikoro Isa B'Shem Chosid, we call him Chosid. Tishave Sfiras HaChesed. But Dugmas Adam like a person. Shayedei Shekoyin Lo Isa Chacham V'Chosid. Nasa Am Shochas HaChacham V'Chesed. By calling him a Chacham V'Chesed, we draw this out. Elov, the distinction is Sheba'odam, which is now we need two Mishalim, a name and the Chacham Chesed thing. Because by a person, Am Shocha Yedei Shekoyin Lo Isa Chacham V'Chosid, we're not creating that. He's got that faculty within him. He is a Chacham and a Chassid. We're just nurturing it. We're concealed state to revealed state. Well, a Maila, we're actually creating it because God's not hardwired anyway. By calling him a Chacham, we create it. Before we called him that, there's no Sfiras Gamla, not even concealed, just a name which is nothing. The person for the person, the name means nothing. It's nothing of him. So why bother? Just leave the first mashal for the name. It's purer, because you want to bring out that no, we are actually affecting the Eibushter in such a way that we bring out a particular attribute, not just you turning to me, but turning to me in a particular way. So it's a fusion of the milas of both mashalim, of Stama name and Chosid and Chazdan, Chochem and Chazdan. Even though for us, they're two separate things. A name will get us to turn totally, and Chochem will, it's not creating that within me, it's just bringing it out. But for the Eibushter, we are creating it. And for us, the first marshal brings out the creative parts, because I don't need the name. You create the name and its effect when you call me. When you don't, it doesn't exist for me. All it is that if one day someone would want to call me, I may turn to him. It's potential, it's pure potential, but not existence at all. We somewhat clear. We need to think it. Okay, let's finish the ice. So l'maylo, I think it's Hashem nasa etzem mitzias hasviris. But unlike a person who was hardwired to have the properties of Chacham and Chesed, etc., L'maylo it's not so. It's by calling the Eibushter, that's when the mitzias of Sviras become. The koydem akri lahayu Sviras klal, before Jew actually calls him, he's not Sviras gamli behelim. At what level is it a name? It's a name. That's what God gave himself. A name that if someone will use it, so it's if they don't, then the name doesn't exist. If someone will use it, then it's there, and that will summary. But you look perplexed. Good. Why? Speak up.
Articulated properly, but with the Eibushter, it's true, it's not manifest at all, it's not there until we draw it out, but he created the system that he wants us to draw it out in this way, and manifest on this way. With the shame, it's the mashal is very different. I didn't give myself my name, and I didn't, how it's gonna come out, that is really arbitrary, right? Whereas the Eibushter, it's not arbitrary, it's not there. But it's not there in that it's, in us it's latent, in him it's not even latent. That's I think the point. But even in it's not being latent, so it's defined how it will manifest already.
So in the end, we've got to come back to, so how does it all begin? Because you saw the Shavuos and Moishe and Atzmos. That in the end is going to be, so then what's causing all of this?
And so through manifesting in the Esespheres and so on, that's how the relationship with Neshama will come out at the end.
Right. So since in Neshama, it's kind of, I need to think much further, but since you're asking, I hope what I'm saying is correct. Because, well, this was said earlier actually. Because Neshama Sambushas and Atzmos, and his desire is did betachtoinim. Again, that's all the decision of Atzmos. So we're thrust down here into this goof. Everything which in the process that led to this tachten, this whole process of Oid and all the dargas, are all going to be responsive, the highest dargas, and all contingent upon us down here at the end of the day. But what starts it all off is an atmistic thing, and therefore all the Giluyim follow. Now we need to think this through much further and get very crystal clear the human state and its limitation and comparing it to God, which is what you're bringing out. Okay, we'll stop here. Be'ez Hashem, tomorrow we'll finish the paragraph and continue it, and we'll think about it in the interim. Meanwhile, tomorrow is what?
Erev Shabbos.
It's Erev Shabbos. It's the old 6 o'clock. What's that? Have a wonderful day, everybody. Psudas Tovos. It's okay. Think, be confused, break it. It's okay. Not as okay. That's the beauty. We're a bit confused and things are fly. So set some time to try and think it through. Take the mind, think.